Will Catherine, the Princess of Wales, be able to wear a tiara at the coronation? And what about Prince George? What special role did he just get? And do we know if Harry and Meghan are attending? Hello everyone, welcome to Royal News Network. My name is Brittany and today we are talking about the coronation, the latest news going on about this very important and historic event. We've gotten some details about the invitations. Now we also have a role for George and a dress code rumor going around, which I find very disturbing because I was hoping for jewelry and tiaras, and I have a funny sinking feeling we're not gonna get that. And needless to say, I'm not too happy about that. And we do still have talk and wonderings, are Harry and Meghan going to attend? They have not confirmed that or not, and we're about 31 days away. So they really need to make up their ever-loving minds about what they're going to do. So we're gonna talk about all that today. But if you guys haven't been here to Royal News Network before, like I said, my name is Brittany and I provide compelling royal commentary on this channel about the latest news and sometimes a little bit of gossip too. I also will be reviewing television shows and movies and sharing a bit about history too. So if you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. And I did detail a lot of this coronation news in my weekly newsletter, Royal Wire. So if you guys want to sign up for that, I would love to have you there. There will be a link down below. I also have an upcoming trip to Scotland, so if you guys are interested in that, there will be a link down below for you to sign up via email, so you will be one of the first to know when that trip becomes available. And I am so excited, guys, for the coronation because I will be going next month. It seems so crazy that in less than a month I'll be in the UK for the coronation. It's going to be so exciting, so busy, so crazy, but I am absolutely, completely 100% stoked. I'm also wearing, this says Queen. I got this at the Tower of London. I thought this was sweatshirt. I'm actually really hot because it's hot where I am today, but I just thought this would be fun to wear because we're going to be talking about the coronation. Yes, oh yes, this is going to be a huge historic moment. The Queen reigned for 70 years. And I think Charles, in a lot of ways, he'll be judged on how well this goes. And so this has been something that they've been working towards, something they've been building around, and something they've been really focused on for the last several months. And so now we have more details coming out, and we'll get more and more as time goes on. But one of the first things that we learned yesterday, and although it was buried down the page, I want to bring it up first because I thought it was very important, is that Prince George will serve as one of his grandfather's pages of honor. So these are the young men, usually they're young teenagers, who hold the robe for the sovereign, and they follow usually Her Majesty the Queen, it was most of the time, into the state opening of Parliament. One of Sarah Chateau's sons, or maybe even both of her sons, served as one of these pages of honor. So they did this at the state opening of Parliament, I believe the Order of the Garters, and there might have been a couple other instances where they did this. And George will be the youngest because I think most of the time they're between the ages of 11 and 13. But George is also very tall, so I'm sure he can fit into that little outfit that they wear. So it'll be just so cute and amazing to see George there in such an official role. And one of the young men he'll be with is named Lord Oliver, and he is the son of the woman that Prince William allegedly, or some believe, had an affair with. So I find that kind of interesting. Another way, again, to hit back at that terrible rumor. His father has a quite prominent role, and so it makes sense that he's been given this great honor. Their families are quite close. So I think this is a great time to see all these boys together. And then when it comes to Camilla, we actually had a lot of talk about this, and we finally got it confirmed that Camilla's grandsons and her great nephew will serve as her pages of honor. So again, they'll be fulfilling pretty much the same roles. So I thought that was some great news to share. We had been hearing a lot of talk that Camilla wanted her family involved. And I do fall on two sides when it comes to this because I see the benefit of having family involvement. I think family is very important. I can see how it looks perhaps more familial to the public to have the family involved. And yet at the same time, I also think, well, her grandkids aren't royals. And so it just seems perhaps a little bit, perhaps too far, or pulling the monarchy down too much to have people who are not titled, who just, our connection is the fact that their grandmother is married to the king, which is still a big deal. I'm not saying that it's not a big deal, but that connection is a bit less tenuous. And you want to be very careful, I think, here, and we'll come back to this again, to not make the ceremony so ostentatious, yet keep the majesty of it. That's a careful line to walk. And Charles has to be, I think, exceedingly cautious here, not to make it seem like too low an event, not to make it seem as majestic as it should be. And so the next thing we got is the invitation, which is quite elaborate. It has a green man on it. It has the coat of arms for His Majesty and Her Majesty. And a lot of people are also pointing out, and I know some people are really excited about this, some people are not, that Queen Camilla will just be Queen Camilla instead of Queen Consort Camilla. So I've always gone with Queen Camilla. I think adding Queen Consort Camilla is just too much. That's why, especially when Catherine and William became the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall immediately after the Queen's death, and they changed their profiles to the Duke and Duchess of Cornwall and Cambridge, I was like, oh my gosh, you need to fix that now. That is going to get old so fast. And thankfully they went ahead and did that, and they became the Prince and Princess of Wales, which is so much easier because I wouldn't want to put Cornwall and Cambridge, write that out all the time. It wouldn't even fit in the title of a video. So according to the royal website, it was designed by Andrew Jameson, who is a heraldic artist and manuscript illustrator whose work is inspired by the chivalric themes of Arthurian legends. Mr. Jameson is a brother of the Art Workers Guild, of which the king is an honorary member. So the original artwork for the invitation was hand painted in watercolor and gouache, and the design will be reproduced and printed on recycled cards with gold foil detailing. Central to the theme is a motif of the Green Man, an ancient figure from British folklore symbolic of spring and rebirth. To celebrate the new reign, in the shape of the Green Man, crowned in natural foliage, is formed of leaves of oak, ivy, hawthorn, and the emblematic flowers of the United Kingdom. The British wildflower meadow bordering the invitation features lilies of the valley, cornflowers, wild strawberries, dog roses, bluebells, and a sprig of rosemary for remembrance, together with wildlife including a bee, a butterfly, a ladybird, a wren, and a robin. Flowers appear in groupings of 3, signifying the king becoming the 3rd monarch of his name. A lion, a unicorn, and a boar, taken from the coats of arms of the Majesty and Her Majesty's father, Bruce Shand, can be seen amongst the flowers. Her Majesty's arms are now enclosed by the Garter following her installation as a Royal Lady of the Order of the Garter last summer. So again, I think this is quite beautiful. It's somewhat reminiscent, as some people pointed out, of the invitation Charles received as a child to his mother's coronation. It just has this very light and airy feel, very springtime, which makes sense considering the time of year of the coronation itself. I think it's just a really beautiful card, and I can't imagine what it would be like to receive one of these. I'd be super curious what it would go for on eBay if somebody decided to sell theirs. I would not mind buying that. I really would not. I think that would be kind of amazing. Not gonna lie, even if it doesn't have my name on it, I think it would be very cool. And there was a really cute, sweet moment. I think his daughter posted on Twitter how proud she was of him. She's like, oh, this just happened. I thought that was rather cute. And so now getting on to the dress code, because this has been a point, I think, of comments, questions, confusions, and it really does seem to be angling towards perhaps that Catherine will not wear a tiara. I have so many issues with that. According to at least what I believe some members of parliament have received, according to reports, is that they've been told their dress code is formal day dress. So this is similar to what people wore who were guests at the royal weddings, at Royal Ascot. So these are basically Catherine's coat dresses with a fascinator. That's the type of outfits we're looking towards there. So this is men in morning coats with tails. And so it's somewhat formal, but not quite as formal. And while I see the benefit of that for the rest of the crowd, and particularly dealing with Harry and Meghan, but when it comes to Catherine and William, I really do think they need to stand out. I really hope that they give them gowns and Catherine a tiara to wear, because they really do need to be symbolic of this moment. Yes, this is Charles's day in the sun, but Charles will reign at the very most, let's say 20 years. William will be next, and I think William will reign much longer than his father, because he'll come to the throne maybe at 60. He might even come to the throne at 50. So if that's the case, then William really and Catherine need to take center stage, because they're the people the country gravitates to more. Every popularity poll has William and Catherine at the top of it. They kind of switch places depending on the poll, but they are the most popular royals. I don't think it's good for Charles, especially because we know from his experiences with Diana that sometimes he was was a little miffed that she got more attention than him. I think he's mostly settled into that life that he will just never get as much attention as his sons, as their wives, as his grandkids. He had his day in the sun, but as you get older in the royal sphere, just like in Hollywood, oftentimes, the people shift to the younger generation. And I think that's totally fine. So Charles has to make sure, I think, that he gives William and Catherine a very prominent role here. And I think Catherine needs to wear a tiara because she is the Princess of Wales. She is the future queen. She needs to look like a future queen, not just a guest in the gallery. Now, for the rest of the working royals and for all the audience members, does that make sense? I say yes. It also deals with the Harry and Meghan issue. If Meghan is demanding, well, I really want to wear a tiara because I think I need to wear a tiara. And Charles is like, well, this is just reserved for Catherine and William as the Prince and Princess of Wales. I'm so sorry, there's nothing we can do about that. That kind of defeats Harry and Meghan in some of their arguments. So I think that definitely alleviates some of that stress right there, because I've always been of the opinion it makes no sense for Meghan Markle to wear a tiara. She's no longer a working royal. She has no connections to the royal family. She actively hates them. She actively hates on them all the time. Her father-in-law has hardly ever seen his grandchildren. Harry and Meghan don't hang out or talk to really any of the family members as far as we can tell, except for maybe Eugenie. So there's no reason for Meghan Markle to wear a tiara and have any prominent role, neither does it with Harry or their children. They are the past, the Waleses are the future. So the Waleses need to take center stage here. And when it comes to the coronations that we saw in the rest of Europe over the last 10 years or so, so King Wilhelm Alexander, he'll celebrate 10 years on the throne this year. During the actual ceremonies, everybody was in formal day wear. And it was kind of different because, at least in the Netherlands, it was very much a celebration. So there was a big tiara gala beforehand. I hope the Brits do that. But oh my gosh, the Brits are so stingy about their tiara events. I cannot even tell you how annoying that is, because everywhere in Europe, they do so much more. Maxima wears a tiara like 12 times in a year, and Camilla will wear it twice, and Catherine will wear it 2 or 3 times. It's just... it's just so annoying. Although Camilla's wearing it more now because they're doing state visits. Unfortunately, the Brits, for a while, because the Queen couldn't travel, they were no longer doing state visits, and only the monarch usually can wear a tiara during state visits. That's not always the case. The Princess of Wales did, but often is that when it comes to state visits, it's the sovereign that gets to wear the tiara, and if Catherine and William are going somewhere and they have a state dinner, usually they don't. But the couple other coronations that we had, and although I should say Wilhelm Alexander's was technically inauguration, but the other 2 coronations we had in Spain and Belgium were very much formal and casual, much more casual affairs. And the reason for that is both of those transitions of power happened due to scandals of the previous king. So they couldn't do very ostentatious ceremonies. I think in part, perhaps in some cases, that just wasn't the tradition, because especially when it comes to Belgium, their actual monarchy is actually quite new, all things considered. But in Spain and everything, it was very scaled back, in part because they couldn't be seen as too ostentatious, especially the King of Spain. He was wrapped up in financial scandals. When it came to the King of Belgium, he had a child out of wedlock, and Juan Carlos definitely in Spain cheated a lot as well. Not saying that, but he was also involved in a lot of the financial scandals that enveloped his son-in-law, one of his daughter's husbands. So that was a whole situation that was entirely different. And Britain is the only coronation that happens in Europe that has a religious element in it, which includes the Eucharist and just a religious service, which doesn't really happen in the other royal families. Yes, they might have a service in a church, but when it comes to actually the Eucharist being part of it, Britain is the only country that still does that. So this will be a very formal, traditional affair in a lot of ways. But I think Charles, again, has to be very, 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 very careful here. Not to scale it back so much that people are like, well, I could be watching anything else on television. That's why I think Catherine needs to wear a tiara. You need to bring some bling and drama to this, Charles. Don't let people talk you out of having some grandness to this, because royals, again, they have to be careful, and this goes for royal fashion too, and this was where Meghan stepped in all the time, is you need to look regal, but you can't break the bank. So when Meghan Markle purchased a $100,000 Dior dress, and then her engagement dress was $75,000, people look at that and people aren't happy. Yes, you can spend 6 figures on a wedding dress, but sending it on a maternity dress that you will wear one time in Morocco, that's from Dior, which is not a British fashion house, which is a French one, and it looks terrible on you. and you're never going to wear it again. That's an issue. So that's why Catherine has to be careful. Most of her stuff costs a couple of grand, but she's not spending usually 5 figures on a dress unless it's really necessary for her to spend 5 figures on a dress. And that's how it should be. And again, you have to walk that careful line between not looking underdressed and yet looking the part and being regal enough to pull off the occasion. Like her Jenny Packham dress for the state visit from South Africa was just perfection. That dress was divine. I actually think it would have made a great coronation dress. If she wears that again at the coronation, will I be somewhat disappointed? Yes. But will it still be gorgeous? Yeah, it'll still be pretty amazing to see her wear that again. And again, that's the level I feel like Catherine needs to be at. She needs to be that wow, va-va-voom, you know, there she is type thing, because we need not only to see the present, but see the future. Because again, Charles is not that popular. Who's popular? Catherine and William. So as much as Charles can somewhat turn the camera and acknowledge the power and presence of his son and daughter-in-law, I think it's a good thing. And so we do know that there'll be 2,000 guests. The Queen's had, I believe, 6,000 or 8,000, so it'll, again, be quite pared down from what she had. The procession around the city is going to be shorter. And so I think they're doing well in pulling back some of the grandness, but at the same time, again, I really hope they don't do that so much that really looks like any other event. This should not be a royal wedding event. This should be a coronation. It should be a step above a royal wedding. And if it's not, I feel like there'll be some disappointment on the part of people. Now, again, we will get the St. Edward's crown, which is massive. It's solid gold. It weighs a ton. And we have the Imperial State crown, which has the Cullinan 2 diamond in it. We have the scepter, which has the Cullinan 1. So this will still be quite a grand and ostentatious affair. But again, Charles has to be careful here not to pull it back too much. So it seems like it's on a good trajectory, but I don't think we'll know quite everything until we get some more of the details, particularly about the Princess of Wales and what she can wear. Now, when it comes to Harry, Meghan, Archie, and Lily, what we know for sure is, as far as we know, Archie and Lily have no role in the coronation whatsoever, nor should they. They are 6th and 7th in line to the throne. They are constitutionally irrelevant because of the modern technologies and everything. They shouldn't even be a prince and princess because that's pointless, because they'll probably be stripped of it anyways because that's the way the rest of Europe is going, and they spend no time with their family. So why in the world should they have titles of a family that their parents supposedly hate and despise and rail against every gosh darn day? No idea. But Harry and Meghan, they've been invited, which again, the palace was always going to do. Harry has proven that he can go to the UK without the security he needs when he went to support his own court case, so to feed his own ego. He was also in Dior, which I'm going to do, I think, a separate fashion video on the rumor that Harry, yes, this is, I feel like, so grating to me, might get a Dior brand ambassadorship. I have strong feelings about this because I like Dior, and if they go with Harry, let alone Meghan, I don't know if I can do Dior anymore. Anyway, so he can go to the UK. There's no reason why he cannot go. He'll also apparently testify, and that will be in June. So that could be around the Trooping the Colors. So Harry and Meghan could go to that, and they'll get their balcony appearance there. They should not get that at the coronation. Again, it should be Charles, Camilla, and the Wales' kids, and that's it. Maybe the pages of honor, the other ones, like that's the line, that's the limit, that should be it. But when it comes to their invitation, Harry and Meghan dragging their feet, of course, like I've said before, is their attempt to leverage the situation to get something that they want. I think they want the balcony. I think they want tiaras. I think they want the grandeur. They want to be treated as if they are still constitutionally relevant and 5th in line to the throne. Harry technically is, but they're no longer working members of the royal family. They have no royal roles. They're basically hangers-on at this point. They've told the monarchy they don't want them, yet they're desperately clinging to them. So Harry and Meghan, in my honest opinion, need to grow the heck up about this situation. Admit and acknowledge the fact that you are not going to get your way because this is not your day. This is your Father's Day. And just go ahead and accept the gosh darn invitation or reject it, whatever it is. But we know they're going to accept because they have nothing else going on as far as we're aware, except for Harry's court case, Meghan's vague implication that she's doing another season of Archetypes, and her buying more awards for herself. that's where they're at right now. So do they need the coronation? Yes, because they need to reestablish with the public that they are connected to the monarchy, that we do need to pay attention to them because they are connected to the crown. If Harry and Meghan can't do that, they have a lot of problems coming their way. So I think they'll definitely go, but this dragging their feet, just kicking and screaming, waiting till the last second, it needs to end because I'm sick of it, you're sick of it, and we want to dish about if they're coming or not. And when it comes to at least foreign royal guests, I think we'll have all the foreign royals there, which is why I'm hoping there's a gala event that all the foreign royals can come in their tiara vest. I think that would be awesome, just like they did for the inauguration of King Wilhelm Alexander. We also know Joe Biden is going, representing the United States. There was a lot of talk that presidents generally don't go. I didn't look and see if first ladies have generally gone, but I don't find any issue with it. I know some people are like, well, we fought against the monarchy. I was like, yeah, but if I was the president's wife, I want to go. I want to go. I blame her at all there. So this will be just a very, very interesting and historic event. It'll be a hugely busy day in London. I was there for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee. I can tell you the crowds were massive. They were huge. And for those of you who have asked, I know I've mentioned that I'm trying to get press credentials. So I got the email address from Buckingham Palace for the press credentials. I requested them, didn't hear anything. I followed up with them this week just because I was like, hey, I've requested these. And I got an automatic response saying they haven't even opened them yet. So I emailed them a month and a half before they even got together, or maybe a couple of weeks before they even got the automatic response to the email going. So I know I have the right email address, so that's really good to know. And I'm one of the first to request it because they didn't even have an automatic response when I emailed them. So I will be keeping up with that, probably emailing them every week until I can make sure and hear from somebody and hopefully move forward. So if you guys want to hit that subscribe button, if you want my on the ground coverage of the coronation and to help me get some of the best pictures that I can, please subscribe. That would be absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited for this event, and I'm really hoping for press credentials that I won't have to get there, for example, or sleep overnight beforehand. I might still get there if I can't get it super early in the morning, which would not be I mean, it would still be fun, but it would still be a long day. Especially if you can't use the bathroom and stuff, that would just be really hard. So I'm hoping this all comes together. And so guys, if you want to subscribe, if you want to support this channel, feel free to go ahead and like I said, click that button down below and subscribe to my newsletter, Royal Wire, as well. I'd really appreciate it. I'm closing in on 2,000 subscribers for that. And I've debated, and I think I've landed on, I wanted to do more written content pieces on things I can't cover and everything, and I think I'll end up putting a lot of that on Substack. I do technically have a website, and I would love to get that thing up to date and working really well, but I think that'll cost a lot, and I'm not quite there to just dump a bunch of money into creating a really fancy website. And Substack is a great place to keep up with people and share various royal stories, and I'll get the chat going, I think, at some point. I'll really try to expand and work within the parameters because Substack is kind of an interesting growing place, and I think it's an innovative place as well. So guys, I'm really looking forward to that, and I have so much more content planned. Although I am traveling this week, I'm still planning on doing my Saturday morning live stream. I'll be at my grandparents' place. My grandpa was apparently very worried about making sure I had the best spot to do it, which is super sweet because we're celebrating his 90th birthday. So guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. I could not do it without you guys. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.